And do you speak French?
Un petit peu. Not
so
really.
You would be able to play in French?
I would if I worked at it, yes. I didn't think at the time about it being an important thing to do, but it feels in hindsight like a very important story to tell and to shine a light on an area of society that is often marginalised and very rarely looked at and explored in that kind of depth. I think there's a need for women to be really represented in film, and I think we make up more than half of the population. Why are we not seeing ourselves represented in an honest way, in the same way that men have been? Or I grew up watching these iconic male performances and very few female ones. So yes, I think in every area of every industry of the world, women aren't looked at in the same way that men are. And so it's important in cinema, which has a voice and a platform, to explore the stories about, you know, half of the species, who are actually infinitely more complex and interesting than the male counterpart, I think. I think it's difficult for me to look at myself in that way. I mean, that's for other people to surmise. I can't. I feel there have been a million moments where people have felt that way, and then life happens and things shift. I think attention span is short, and that's okay. You know, if this moves the needle in some way or another, or if somebody watches this film and sees that I have the ability to carry a film and hold a story and therefore trust me to do it again, that's great. I mean, I think your own perception of yourself is different to how other people see you. I think I battled against people seeing me as somebody's girlfriend or somebody who was fashionable. I still think that's a very strong perception to overcome, but it doesn't really bother me anymore. I think it's difficult for men to assume that you can be more than one thing, particularly. You can't possibly be glamorous and well-read and talented. It's convenient to put people into boxes. But, you know, I think hard work will pay out in the end. Yeah, and that's their problem, not mine, you know what I mean? I think that would be really smart, and the women that I see who are producing and developing their own content are really succeeding in it. I have to get my head around time management, which is not my strong point. Balancing motherhood and an acting career and a life that I cherish and is very much my own. That deserves as much nourishment as my career does, and so to find the time to get the infrastructure in place, to hire a staff, to do, you know, to manage it all, is, I'm not a very good multitasker. There are two sides to everything. Of course, there's a side to that kind of fame, which for me is, I feel like I've navigated it quite well, so that by this point in my life I can have a job and a life that feels relatively private. Yeah, yes, it's intense to be followed and chased and harassed, essentially. But, you know, you can get a table at a nice restaurant at the drop of a hat. I don't know, you can't complain. That's my life, that's my path, it's great.